Video number 11. Things to check before broadcasting. Now that we have everything set up to start searching for participants and advertising our webinar for people to catch on different venues, we can begin tuning the last details and checking the software features available during broadcast. Let's edit the last option on the Manage Webinar page. By scrolling down to the bottom of the page, you'll see the Engage Your Attendees section. This is a useful and simple to use optional feature, so let's check it out. Handouts. Handouts are support material that you can provide your participants with to use before or during the session. These materials can be uploaded in audio, video, and file type formats as long as they are less than 110 meg. You just have to drag and drop a file from your computer to the drag and drop a file box here, or click over it and choose the files from a specific location within your folders. You can add up to 5 handouts. After uploading, it will appear as a panel with the file's name and information. You can preview it here and check if it downloads correctly. You can also delete it by clicking on the trash bin image. After you're done uploading your handouts, go to the Manage Webinar link above. When the main screen loads, scroll down to the Polls and Surveys. Polls and Surveys. You can create a new poll by going to the Edit button. You can choose between multiple choice questions with one answer or multiple answers. Check examples to give yourself an idea on how to conduct your poll. After setting up the questions and answers for your polls, save them. Go back to the Manage Webinar page. Inside the Surveys control panel, you can edit the survey title, the question, and the answers. You can choose between various survey types, multiple choices with one answer, multiple choices with multiple answers, rate a scale from 1 to 5, and surveys with short answers. Again, you can see examples of surveys to give yourself ideas before setting up your surveys. After you save your surveys, you can add another one. You can configure your surveys to launch after the webinar is over or to be sent along with the follow-up email for attendees and absentees. Check the boxes depending on when you want them to launch. For both polls and surveys, you have the option to preview them with the Preview button located beside the Save button. After previewing them and making sure that all the information in them is correct, save them. Start earlier. Now we are ready to practice before our webinar goes live. Go to the Start button on the top right corner of the Manage Webinar main page and wait for the GoToWebinar installer to be automatically downloaded. If the download fails, click on the Download File Manually link. Once you've done this, click on the GoToWebinar launcher and wait for the online launcher to download GoToWebinar and install it on your computer. The GoToWebinar panel. Now that the software is downloaded and connected to your computer, let's do an early test of the necessary elements before your webinar goes live. Preferences. First, we need to go to the panel Preferences. Go to the Files tab and press on Preferences. Here we are going to check and familiarize ourselves with our panel's functions. It is important to learn how to use all of these functions because all webinars are different and you may want to use different settings for each one. Let's go and check the functions in the control panel dashboard. Audio. One of the first things that you will want to check is the audio options. That is because it is better to make sure our audio devices are working and that our participants' audio reception is going to work. In the audio settings on the Preferences, check that your microphone is set up. If the green bar is registering sound when you talk to it, your mic is okay. If the green bar is not moving, you'll have to make sure the right mic is set up and try again. Now, on the GoToWebinar control panel, on the top left corner by the side, you'll see where you can mute or unmute your mic. This is useful when you have guest speakers and you have background noise. By muting your mic, only your guest's voice is going to be heard. The Show My button and Webcams. On the screen sharing panel, you have a camera button where you can check what is being shown on camera at the present moment. By going to the Show My button, you can see the active elements on your desktop, like documents and web pages, so you can share them on screen. On this panel, you can also see the options to give keyboard and mouse control to other presenters. This is going to be useful if a co-organizer needs to take control of the webinar or for a demonstration. Also, you can start recording the session here. On the webcam panel, use Share My Webcam to choose what webcam to share on screen. It can be the webcam used by the person doing the talking or all of the presenters' webcams. You can change the presenter by pressing on the Change Presenter button in the screen sharing panel when you need to change the person doing the talking and show their webcam. Check the Audience View panel to view what your audience will be seeing at the moment. Do this check with every screen and webcam change you make. Polls and questions. Here you can manage and send polls associated with this webinar. Below is a question panel that will open as a new window when you expand it. You can type a question and choose to send it privately to a participant or to send it to all participants. Handouts. Here will be the handouts added by you when you were setting up your webinar. You can add handouts during a session by clicking on Choose a File and looking it up in a specific folder on your computer. Chat. Here you can type a message to show attendees when they arrive and write messages to all the participants or to staff members. If you need to chat with someone in particular, just go to the list box located on the chat panel and choose Staff Member. Last considerations. Remember that you can invite panelists and co-organizers to join this session earlier with you, so you can rehearse and do tests before the broadcast starts. It is recommended that they join you 30 minutes or so before the time the webinar starts. You can invite them by going to the attendees list and on the Staff tab, click on Invite and send them the invitation. As we mentioned before, this is a step-by-step list of the essential functions that you need to know to start running your webinars. However, you have to remember to familiarize yourself with all the other options offered by this powerful platform.